guys, it's Christina from Redefine Creative, and I am back with another video, and this is for Wild Whisper Designs using their new Talk Foodie to Me collection. And I decided to play along with one of Christy from Christy's Beautiful Life sketches, and so this is the one that I'm using for today. And it has 3 photos that are 3.5 by 3.5, so I have already cut down my photos. Basically, I just printed them at 4x4 and then just trimmed a little bit off of them, and then I added a little bit of a white cardstock border. And I knew that I wanted to use this fruit paper across the top of the layout. And then I was going to use this darker kind of pinkish fruit paper underneath. And so what I did is I went ahead and used my fringe scissors to create some extra texture and dimension along that border of paper. And then in order to kind of tie everything together, I'm going to go ahead and use this Catherine Pooler Party Dress ink. And if you are interested in that really awesome bright pink colored ink pad, I will put a link down in the comments below. As well as to all of these kind of collections from Wild Whisper Designs. So I'm just looking through some of the scraps that I have left from this particular collection, and I'm going to go ahead and pull out some pattern paper that I think will work. And so I'm putting a little bit of a blue border around that photo in the middle, because in the sketch itself, it does have a little bit of a bigger border around the middle photo. And then I'm flipping through looking in the pocket like page card set, because I know that I want to do some punching, and so I'm looking for some patterns that I can punch out of. And then I'm going to flip through the ephemera pack and kind of pull out all the different little pieces of fruit and some little labels and things that I know will work. So in this particular sketch, which I'm going to stay pretty true to today, there's basically 3 embellishment clusters along the bottom. And so I am just pulling together all of these different pieces of embellishments that I have pulled out and layering them into the ones that I think they are going to go with. And so I have a couple pieces of fruit in each of my 3 little clusters. I have some labels in the bottom too, and then a word phrase that's going to kind of serve as my title. And I am going to end up moving that cluster in the top over towards the middle to create a little bit more balance so that I have a little bit better triangle between my 3 embellishment clusters. Then I'm going to go ahead and, rather than using circles, I'm going to grab my hexagon punch, and I'm going to use those pocket page cards to give me some additional patterns that I can use with those punched pieces. So I have a couple with the nom nom nom, and then I have a few with the same fruit that I have in the pattern paper along the top. And I am going to go ahead and ink the edges of all of these because I want everything to be really cohesive. And from there, I'm just going to kind of build these embellishment clusters. So I have some circles, some hexagons, some labels, some fruit, and I'm kind of trying to balance those things out between all 3 of my embellishment clusters. And then up towards the top of the screen, you can see just a little bit of it. I have some tiny embellishments that I'm going to add into all of the clusters as well. So right now, I'm just kind of building the foundation. So I'm starting with those bigger and those medium-sized pieces. And so off screen, I went ahead and attached those, and then I'm going to go ahead and work on some smaller pieces. So I'm adding some of this Scrap and Happy Studio epoxy flare, and I am going to put one of each of those into each of my 3 clusters. And they're from 2 different, I end up using them from 2 different sets. So one has a sun, one has a little flamingo, and then one is a pineapple. And I'm just picking things that kind of match with my colors. And then I'm going to go ahead and grab some of these puffy stickers, and these are from the Chasing Adventures collection from Jen Hadfield. And I'm going to add a few of the little pieces of fruit that come in that collection to each of my clusters. And then I have these New Day kind of enamel shapes that are triangles, and if you've been watching my videos, you know that I'm trying to get those used up. So I add in one of those to each of my clusters, and then I'm going to add just a couple enamel dots in this kind of bright pink, and then a little bit of a black to kind of bring in some of the darker black outlines and tones that are in some of my embellishments. And I'm just kind of getting everything glued down. And then I do decide that I want to add something over that top photo in the middle. It has a little label in the sketch. And so I make a little tag, and I'm thinking about using that, but then I find these little hexagons that I have left over from pattern paper, and I decide to go with those instead. So I'm going to add a couple of those on top of that middle photo, which makes me decide that I need to add one to each of my other clusters down at the bottom. So I'm going to go through and add in one of these little yellow hexagons that have the words. And I'm just kind of changing up whether I am putting some dimensional adhesive behind some of these elements or not. So some of them are going to get glued flat down onto the page, and some of them are going to get some dimensional adhesive that will sort of add some extra layers and dimension to those clusters as well. And that is basically going to do it for this layout. So I have put some links down below if you want to check out any of these products. I've linked to everything that is currently available, both from Wild Whisper and from the other collections. And I hope that you will also check out Christy's Beautiful Life, who is playing with the same sketches this month that I am playing with, and has some really beautiful layouts as well. And so that's going to do it. I hope you have a wonderful day and you are making lots of memories this summer to be documenting as you have time to get into your room and create. And I will see you again soon.